Shots have been fired at the U.S. Consulate in Toronto overnight. At 5:30 a.m. in the morning on Tuesday, March the 10th, over 10 shots were fired with shell casings found near their front door. The real question this morning is quite simple. Why is Toronto becoming a target for political violence?
At 5:29 a.m. this morning, Toronto police received reports of a discharge of firearms that took place at 361 University, the site of the U.S. Consulate just behind me. Officers arrived on scene and immediately found evidence of a firearm discharge, shell casings, as well as damage to the building. There were people inside the building. However, this building is highly secure, highly fortified, and there were no injuries. There has also been some evidence to suggest that the firearm discharge may have taken place as early as 4:29 in the morning. There is witness evidence to show that a vehicle traveling westbound on Dundas Street, a white Honda CR-V, turned southbound at University Avenue and stopped in front of 361 University, the U.S. Consulate. There, two individuals emerged from the vehicle, discharged at what appears to be a handgun at the front of the building, and then got back into their vehicle and drove southbound.
Police responded overnight after reports of gunfire near the U.S. Consulate in downtown Toronto, on the main boulevard. As former law enforcement in this city, I know the area very well. Major courts are across the road. This is bold. 10 shots are reported fired at the front door. This is just 1,000 yards away from a downtown police station on a major boulevard. There's no reports of injuries so far. But when shots are fired at the U.S. Consulate, that's not just another overnight crime story. I repeat, shots have been fired near the front door of the U.S. Consulate in Toronto, right at the front door where you can see President Trump's portrait hanging just inside on the walls. Now, this incident does not exist in isolation. Over the past weeks, Toronto has seen similar shootings targeting Jewish synagogues, with tens of shots fired right through the front doors of synagogues. Israel, the U.S. partner in Operation Epic Fury. There also has been terror and intimidation incidents fired at former Iranian dissidents who had businesses here in Toronto. These are serious political acts of intimidation and terrorism. We've had one former politician in Ontario, she's a very outspoken critic of Iran, have a $250,000 bounty published and put on her head in social media. There are some 700 IRGC agents who operate in Canada currently, according to the government, and the government is making apparently zero effort to remove them or deal with them. In fact, they've said there's no flights to Iran. How can we get rid of them at a recent political meeting? When violence starts hitting religious communities, political dissidents, and now the U.S. Consulate building, people have to start asking, is something bigger happening? Toronto's always seen itself as one of the safest major cities in North America, but I've watched that change rapidly in the last number of years, with international politicians now calling out the city for failure to protect their residents, failure to protect the synagogues, failure to protect the Jews, failure to protect the Iranians, and now, are we protecting the American consulate well? A city like Toronto on the U.S. border shouldn't be a stage for international intimidation or political violence. This is the longest unprotected border in the world. Shots fired near a consulate is the kind of incidents governments need to treat as a major international security concern. The U.S. needs to protect its people and its country. Are these incidents isolated? What are the warning signs going on in Canada right now? What do you think? Let me know in the comments.